Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Asa Tarot, and in today's pick a card reading, we are going to be looking at predictions and advice for March 2022. So I have 3 green piles for you guys to choose from today. I don't know, March just always gives me green energy, so that's what we're doing. So starting with pile 1, the stone to choose from is this piece of green Moonstone. And then for pile 2, we have this beautiful Fluorite tower. And then sitting on top of pile 3 is this piece of Kambaba Jasper, which is really, really fun to say. Kambaba. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It's fine to be drawn to more than one. I don't know if more than one pile will resonate. Maybe you just need to kind of suss it out. But remember, when we are talking about predictions, nothing is ever set in stone. You always have free will, and do not let these cards determine how well your month is going to be. You know, can't predict things like me burping. But that's all I have for you guys. So once you pick your pile, you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section, where I will have the timestamps for each pile listed below, and then we will get into your reading. Hi there, pile 1. If you guys chose the green Moonstone, this is going to be your reading on March 2022 predictions. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start by looking at a few oracle cards to see what you might be experiencing in your overall month. So to start, we have duality with the banana and the water element. We have alone in the world. We have weight of the world, boundaries, let it go, it's not yours to carry. And be bold and make the first move with cardinal moon. So it's really interesting that out of 2 of your oracle cards, we have the world here. So one thing that I do think that may be occurring right now is that you could be in the process of coming out of a really big transition or coming out of a very difficult cycle. And it seems like there could be some bittersweet feelings with that. But I also feel like too, you could be feeling the tensions of the collective and not just yourself. You may find that you're more sensitive to collective energies, or you may just be more sensitive to the energies of the people around you. I feel like you're going to be kind of in this energy where you're recognizing that you need to take more time for yourself and give more space to allow your emotions to come through. I feel like you're going to be realizing that maybe you put a little bit too much of your time and energy into people and situations that weren't necessarily benefiting you in return. You may be spread a little thin this month, where you feel like you have a lot going on and maybe just not enough time to complete everything, or you may feel a little overwhelmed. One specific message I was getting is that, especially if you work in a medical situation, because we do have the caduceus here, you might be dealing with some sort of understaffing or feeling kind of unappreciated by any higher-ups or people that you work for. I do think that Spirit is kind of encouraging you this month to not depend on anyone, in the sense that if you want something done, you kind of need to be the one to do it yourself. I don't know if people will be the most reliable this month. And I think one of your struggles is going to be that while you're dealing with yourself, you're also dealing with things that are so far outside of your control that you're still sensitive to anyway. I definitely think that your emotions are going to be something that is highlighted this month. And I think Spirit is encouraging you not to allow your emotions to derail the progress that you've been making, or the desire to start fresh in some sort of project or endeavor. With be bold and make the first move, I feel like Spirit is saying if you want to make something happen this month, it's up to you to do it. Don't wait for people to come to you. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. I feel like Spirit is saying it's your time to make things happen. And not only that, I feel like Spirit might be highlighting the fact that you may have more of a desire to do things that are meaningful to you, but you may put those on the sidelines to help other people, or when other people come through, you might completely derail what your plans were in order to accommodate them. And so I think Spirit is saying this is a good month to have boundaries with others and boundaries with yourself, where you're not betraying yourself in order to please other people. I also think that this is a month where you might be feeling a little out in the cold. It kind of seems like when you're taking your energy in and focusing on yourself, you may kind of have this realization where some of the people that you had been investing a lot of energy and time into don't necessarily reciprocate that. And it might be a cold realization, but I think it's one that's necessary, because you'll realize that you shouldn't feel guilty for prioritizing yourself and prioritizing what matters to you. I also think that one of the biggest things that is going to be important for you this month is to not let the weight of the collective hold you down from making individual progress. I think that if you are really stressed about, what's going on in the world, or things beyond your control in general, I think it would be really helpful for you to unplug and kind of spend some time with yourself and your emotions. I think that you're kind of having you're going to be in a state of flux in March, where I don't really think there's a baseline emotion that you're sticking to. I think you're kind of just experiencing a flux of different emotions, and not all of them will be yours. If you are empathic, or even if you don't identify as that, I do think that you will just be more susceptible to the energies around you. And we do have a Pisces new moon coming up, so that will bring about some emo-ish energies. So don't feel bad if you need to take time to retreat, to take care of yourself, or anything like that. I do think actually kind of taking yourself away from the craziness of life and not forcing yourself to be super social, not using external things as a distraction could be really helpful in terms of helping you see what is worth your time and what isn't. I also think that there are maybe things that you were confused on and uncertain about, and I think that this time in solitude, this time alone, will allow you to kind of see things a bit clearly than you have in the past. I think if you have the opportunity to go swimming or spend time by water, I think that could be really helpful for you. Water is kind of the element of the month for you, where you're kind of being encouraged to honor your feelings, honor what they're doing to you, honor what they're saying to you, but don't allow them to override what your plans are, override what your goals are. Because I do see here that you will be kind of feeling fired up and feeling empowered to go after what it is that you want. And some of the things that you want may require collaboration, and maybe Spirit is asking you to take time to determine who is worth collaborating with and who maybe should I not allow into my energy. I do think there's kind of this balance that you're dealing with, where you're kind of having to weigh the pros and cons of different options. And I also think that you're balancing the person you're becoming with the person that you're leaving behind. And this might be a little bit of an isolating experience. I almost feel called to recommend that if you are going to be around a lot of people this month, maybe rethink that, where you can control it, because I often find that it's worse to feel alone and be around a ton of people than it is to feel alone and be alone. It might be more helpful to be fully alone, so that you're not being swayed by anyone else's emotions. Your energy isn't being tampered with by other people's emotions. And I think that this is a month where you have the opportunity to recognize where maybe you've been allowing too much of your time and energy to go to, not necessarily waste, but giving it away freely rather than utilizing it for yourself. Because the vibe that I'm getting is that for some of you, it's like you don't have enough time, enough energy for yourself. And of course, there are things outside of our control, especially like if you're a parent or you have a really demanding job, it can be hard to have time for yourself. But I think what Spirit is saying, when you can control when you have time for yourself, make sure you're not prioritizing other people's wants and needs, especially if they're not immediate family that depends on you, over yours. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like anybody's gonna come in to assist you. It seems like you're gonna have to be the one to ask for help, You're gonna have to be the one to set boundaries. You're gonna have to be the one to say like, hey, I need some space, or hey, I really need some help with this. Are you free? I don't think anyone is going to be rushing forward on their own with aid. And you might be one of those people that naturally just is kind of always there for everyone. And you may be kind of realizing how that behavior has kind of allowed for people to maybe take you for granted and take what you offer for granted. And so I do think that this month you're going to be pulling your energy back, and I do think that as a result people will be noticing your absence more, but I don't necessarily know if anyone's going to do anything about it. And I think it's going to make you reevaluate who is worth spending your time with. I also see a theme of vulnerability here, where it may actually be more useful for you to be on your own or around people that you feel really safe with, that you know genuinely care about you, because I do think maybe some heavy emotions will come up to be processed. And if you're not comfortable being vulnerable around other people, I think that's why it's going to be really useful for you to be kind of alone, so that you don't feel shame or beat yourself up for whatever it is that you're feeling during this time. I do think as well with this Weight of the World card, you might find that while you're dealing with your own emotional, I just heard turmoil, so for some of you there could be some deeper emotions that you're dealing with. On top of just the collective anxiety, it might feel like you're drowning at times. So it's important to check in with yourself and really ask yourself, what am I stressing about? Why am I stressing about it? What is making me feel this way? Why is this making me feel this way? And ask yourself, is this feeling even mine? Is this something that I have control over? Because sometimes you might find the feelings that you're feeling are not yours at all. And when that's the case, you can return those to sender and move on about your day. But I do think that it's going to be important to be conscious and mindful of when that's happening. Okay, that candle was just bubbling. So yeah, maybe some things are coming to the surface that you've been suppressing. And so Spirit is saying, make sure you don't let what's going on externally stop you from taking care of you, especially things that are way outside of your control. So that is what I see for your overall month. What I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and kind of look a little bit more in depth to the month in general. We're going to look at a blessing, a challenge, and something Spirit wants you to be aware of. So I'm going to start by shuffling the oracles. Well, there's just one, but figured I would do some shuffling on camera. So Spirit, what is a blessing that pile 1 will be experiencing in March 2022, please? Okay. What about a challenge? And what is something that they should be aware of, or that you want to make it known to pile 1 about, Spirit? Okay. So we got those. Now I'm going to shuffle your tarot. This is the Good Tarot. I felt like this is a good deck to use for this month, because I think we're all getting to that point where it's like, okay, the new year fun is over. We're fully in this year now, and there might be some frustration or just some burnout or just some like bleh feelings. I don't know. I feel like it's easy to anticipate that negative or crappy things might be happening, but I feel like the Good Tarot always has a good way of delivering messages. So, and she's green, so let's see what she has to say for you guys. So Spirit, what is a blessing? Oh, okay, that came right out. What is a challenge that pile 1 may be experiencing? And finally, what is something that you want pile 4? I said 4, there isn't even a pile 4. What is something that you want pile 1 to be aware of this month? Okay. So let's go ahead and start with the blessing. So we have the Empress and we have self-worth. Okay, this is awesome. So definitely your sacral chakra is being highlighted, which is connected to water, interestingly enough, and we have the Empress card being here. So I think that this month is going to give you the opportunity to put more energy into yourself, and I think actually you may experience the universe kind of opening things up to allow you to take more time for self-care. I feel like without the influence of external energies around you, you're going to be realizing and recognizing where maybe you were neglecting yourself in the past, or where you were allowing others to take advantage of your time and energy. I also think that if you have a motherly figure in your life, you could be spending time with them, maybe going on a trip with them, or just spending quality time with them, where that might be very healing and very helpful. They may also kind of help you reassess what matters to you and remind you who you are. I also think you're just going to be having a bit of a confidence boost and a boost in creativity. With this be bold and make the first move, I do feel like this time in solitude, this time on your own, will be kind of inspiring for you and allow you to kind of channel the emotions that you're feeling into some sort of creative outlet. And this creative outlet doesn't even need to be like artistic. It could be like, I don't know, like building a house in The Sims that matches your vibe, or, you know, getting back into an old video game that you forgot that you really loved, or something of that nature. You may also be, how do I want to word this? Someone that you love could be having a baby. So, or you potentially, but I feel like you'll know that. I feel like with these readings, you gotta be really careful, but that might be putting things into perspective, or that person might be someone good to connect to during this month. They might help you remember just how worthy you are. But I think the biggest blessing that you're going to be realizing is that you are worth the time and energy to put into yourself. And I also think that this month actually may be a little bit more relaxed in terms of like deadlines and obligations. You may have more time to just go with the flow and not have everything so structured. And I think the biggest thing, the biggest blessing that you're going to have is just this opportunity to put more effort and energy into yourself, to focus on you, and to not worry too much about aspects of yourself that you may not like, or aspects of yourself that you wish you could change. I feel like you're gonna have more acceptance for who you are, and just recognize that you deserve better than maybe what you've allowed in the past. But that Empress card came out so quickly, and it's 3 with the month of March. So I almost feel like you're gonna be feeling more tapped into your feminine energy. And remember, everybody has feminine energy. And I think it's gonna be easier for you to nurture yourself. You may also realize that you finally have the resources to go after some sort of endeavor that you've been wanting to pursue, or maybe you have this creative burst that you haven't had in a while, which allows you to come through with like more products, or you know, more content, anything like that. I think more than anything, this month is just going to be the opportunity for you to recognize how awesome you are, and recognize that not everybody deserves access to you, and you need to treat yourself like the royalty you are, because if you allow other people to show you what you're worth, depending on who you're around, you might not see the beauty of who you truly are and see your worth. I also think that you could be focusing more on health this upcoming month, and that might be really helpful in terms of helping balance your mood a little bit, especially if your emotions are kind of in a state of flux. I feel like having a healthy vessel, or just a healthier vessel, will help you kind of handle these fluxes of energy in a more stable way. So the challenge that you're going to be dealing with this month is the 4 of Cups and faith with the third eye chakra. So I definitely think with this month, you might be dealing with some apathy or boredom or frustration about the fact that you kind of need to be in solitude, or that you're feeling alone. I feel like you might be wanting more action this month and you're not really getting it. I also think that if you're a more spiritual person, you might find that you're feeling less connected to the universe. Actually, one thing that you might be experiencing is you might be experiencing things on a more 3D scale and less from a 5D perspective. And by that, I just mean that you'll be very tapped into the physical realm, and the higher spiritual realms you may just feel less tied into. I also think this month is going to be challenging you to try things differently. With the Four of Cups, typically we see a figure sitting in front of like 3 different cups, and then there's a fourth kind of hiding behind them that they're not paying attention to. And so I think that the universe is kind of challenging you to go about things in a different way than you normally would, to try things in a different way, and to be patient with how you make decisions and when and where you make decisions. I almost feel like maybe you're focusing on, you might want to focus on things that will bring you immediate gratification, but those things that you focus on, you realize that that immediate gratification never really lasts and it's not really useful. So I think that this is going to be a month where you're kind of like feeling that period of limbo and feeling kind of like, what is the purpose of all this that I'm doing? You might kind of cycle through certain emotions of like, oh, nobody cares about me, and then like, wait, I'm the shit, like, and then it might be like, oh, I just want to be elsewhere, I want to do something else, I feel like you're just going to be in this energy where you don't want to be where you are. And the challenge is going to be learning to accept that instead of creating more stress within you, like you need to be doing more and be growing more. But the blessing is, I feel like by the end of the month, you're going to be really trusting the fact that the cycle that you're in is a much, like 1 month is not the entire cycle, and 1 month is actually not as long as we see it to be, because the Empress is all about like cycles and natural cycles. So I feel like it's going to be a matter of you just reminding yourself that you don't really need to stress yourself out. You don't need to make yourself feel like you're not doing enough, you're not far along enough, that you're not enough, because that is not the case. I think you're just kind of in a state of like bleh sometimes, and I think that the challenge for you is going to be not doing the same things that you've done in the past that make you feel not so great. I feel like Spirit is kind of pushing you to think outside the box, to do things outside of the box. And you might find that even if you don't want to be alone, it's almost like the universe is creating the opportunity for you to have solitude. And you might be kind of feeling frustrated with that or feeling lonely. So this Four of Cups could also be those feelings of loneliness, those feelings of wanting kind of like an instant dopamine hit and like not getting it. And I feel like Spirit is going to be asking you this month to trust what you're feeling, trust that there's a deeper purpose to the energy that you're going through right now, and try not to stress yourself out or make yourself feel like you need to be doing more than you already are, because I definitely think that this month is going to be an opportunity for you to kind of regroup and spring into action once Aries season comes around at the end of March. So what is something that you want pile 1 to be aware of, Spirit? So we have the 7 of Swords and Miracle. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Actually, I'm kind of surprised at how similar these figures look. But there's something beautiful coming in your future, and it's not this month. And Spirit's saying that you have no idea what it is and you won't see it coming. One thing also is that if anyone seemingly like ghosts you this month or kind of disappears, there's a reason for it, and it's actually a blessing. But the biggest thing that I'm getting here is that there's some sort of blessing or miracle in the works that you have no idea is occurring, that you have no idea is in the wings, is how Spirit wanted to word it. And when this time comes around, you're going to be so grateful that you had this time on your own, that you had this time by yourself, and you're going to recognize that like, oh wow, Spirit really did have my back. I'm glad I had faith. I'm glad I trusted in the greater plan this month. I do think that this also kind of speaks to paying attention to your mindset. You might find yourself getting into a more cynical energy this month, where because you're kind of bored, because you're kind of apathetic and, you know, not really having the most exciting month in the world and going through all of these different emotions, you might be kind of feeling like there's no way out of this, or that this will never end, and you might kind of get stuck in like a negative rut. And so I think Spirit is asking you to remember that miracles are always happening every single day. A miracle can always happen, and to not let your mindset completely clouds you from the truth of who you are, the truth of how time works, the truth of the fact that this is just a temporary experience and you're not going to be stuck in March 2022 forever. So that is what I'm seeing there. So we're going to just go ahead and finish this reading off with a little bit of advice. I know this is a shorter reading, but already took me a little while to get this out, and your girl has been tired. So let's go ahead and look at what advice Spirit has for you. So to start, we have Green Aventurine. We have Why Am I Here as the trigger statement. Actually, should I just start with Green Aventurine? Yeah, I probably should. So sorry, you got a little preview. But with Green Aventurine being here, this is a sign that there's actually a lot of good luck coming your way. If I could give you one recommendation, I would highly recommend watching like any Studio Ghibli movies. This one specifically makes me think of Spirited Away. But maybe if you want kind of an escape from your current energy, watch like nostalgic movies or movies that touch your inner child, or movies that are like kind of whimsical or hopeful. I feel like Spirit's kind of encouraging you not to let yourself get too detached from your heart space. But this Green Aventurine is actually a sign that there is luck coming your way, good, hopeful things coming your way. And I think that by the end of the month, you're going to be recognizing how important and imperative this upcoming month was for you, especially just in terms of rejuvenation. But there is a lot of good luck and opportunities coming your way. Don't be afraid to take opportunities that you feel uncertain about. Don't be afraid to do things differently, especially with the Four of Cups. The challenge might be taking opportunities that are different from something that you would normally do. But I think Spirit is saying, if you feel that nudge to do something different, or to ask for an opportunity, or to put yourself out there, do it, because it seems like the fates are on your side. I think especially when it comes to networking, when it comes to putting yourself out there on social media, Spirit's really saying that like you could have a lot of positive results this month. So don't be afraid to do things a bit differently. So coming in to the next card we have Invigorating with the Sacral Chakra again. So the Sacral Chakra is definitely being highlighted as a chakra that you may want to pay attention to this month, to work on some healing with. And the trigger statement says, why am I here? And the true statement says, I make a difference. You will have the motivation you need to express your light. Know that what you do today makes the world a better place. Yeah, I think one thing that you need to know is just because you can't overtly see the impact you make doesn't mean that you don't make one at all. Sometimes we're not really aware of how much we can help and impact and improve the world around us. So we also have I am open to receive. And I think that this is Spirit saying, instead of, make sure you're not like closing yourself off this month. I think that Spirit is saying there are opportunities to receive opportunities. There may be people who want to help you, and maybe if you're the type of person to push people away, maybe that, like, even though what I was channeling was that it seems like there might not be a lot of people coming in to help, but maybe you have to be the one to ask for help. Like, people won't know that you need help unless you overtly say it. But I also think that this is kind of bigger, where maybe you're really used to giving and Spirit's trying to get you in the energy of receiving instead of trying to always be there for others. I think Spirit is trying to give you what you deserve, but you can't receive blessings if you're not open to receiving them. And finally, okay, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Archangel Butielil, probably said that wrong, but it says, be interdependent and expand your horizons. So the vibe that I'm getting is that you're going to be learning how to like weave what you can do on your own with where you may need to be collaborating with others. But with this expand your horizons, I feel like Spirit is really encouraging you to do things differently, especially if you are finding yourself being bored, being apathetic, especially if you're spending a lot of time at home. I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to switch up your routine, switch up the decorations in your place, switch up the furniture, do something to make it a little bit more exciting. But really more than that, I think that Spirit is asking you to be open to collaboration with others, but like the right types of people. So you may need to be discerning about who you are interdependent with, but I think Spirit is kind of setting you up to make some bigger moves, make some money moves, or make some moves that are going to set you up for a lot of success. And I think that Spirit is saying as well, you know, you don't need to close yourself off from everyone. It's more so about just being discerning of who is worth opening your energy to and who you should maybe be careful about giving your energy to, because they may not reciprocate or they may not be very generous in return. But that is all I have for you guys. Pile 1, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching my ads. That is the simplest and easiest way to support me. I do want to give a very happy birthday to all of my March birthdays. Shout out to my Pisceans and my Arians. I am so excited for Aries season, because y'all know that is my season. But what was I saying? I realized I forgot to say happy birthday, and now I've got to track back. So if you want to support me in the channel, definitely leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, comment down below, let me know how this reading resonated. You can also check out my social media, which will be linked below, and you can also check out my merch, which will be linked below as well. So that is all I have. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you are watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Fluorite Tower, this is going to be your reading. I don't know why my voice is so shaky. But we're just gonna go ahead and start by looking at a few oracle cards to see what you can expect for the upcoming month. So to start, we have Wholeness with Black Mulberry. I don't know why is my voice doing that? Like, that's so weird. Excuse me. We also have Is This Me, which makes me think of Camp Rock, like that song. This is real, this is me. We also have The Golden Children, Inner Child, Tenderness, Innocence, Rare Gifts, and Prosperity Lies Ahead with New Moon in Taurus. So this is really beautiful energy, and I love this. The month of March is going to be really awesome for you, where at times you're going to be feeling so good that you might not be sure if you even recognize yourself. I feel like maybe in the past you always had these like ideas that the future will never be as good as you anticipated to be, or that you'll never be successful, or you can never cultivate the life that you want. And I feel like this month you're going to be doing a lot of reflection where you're like, wow, have I really come this far? And like, am I really this person now? I feel like the biggest difference from your past to now is that you're in a safer place. You're in a more secure place in who you are. And I feel like with this wholeness card being here, you're really not going to be yearning for much this month. You're going to be recognizing that prosperity lies ahead. There's new opportunities. There's good things coming. And I also think you're going to be getting in touch with parts of yourself that you may have neglected or may have completely forgotten existed for quite a while. With the Golden Children being here, I do feel like you're going to be tapping in to your inner child a lot more. You may be reopening yourself to gifts that you had when you were a child. These could be like spiritual gifts. These could be artistic gifts. These could be really any sort of gift. But what I'm really seeing here is that you're going to be feeling a lot lighter this month. And I also think you're going to be feeling very hopeful about the future. It's almost like you're entering a new portal, a new phase of life, and you're recognizing that you get to define who you are in this new phase of life. And you might have a hard time recognizing who you are. And I think the biggest challenge for you is going to be allowing your brain to kind of catch up with where you are now. You might kind of feel like or recognize your brain saying maybe like destructive things or harmful things that are not really helpful for you at all, and kind of realizing that you need to be easier on yourself. You need to be kinder to yourself. We also have the master number 33 here. So March 3rd could be a significant date, or the number of threes could just be significant for you. It does kind of seem like you're ascending, and also you're improving a lot when it comes to how you see yourself, when it comes to emotional regulation as well. I feel like you're learning to be present and to be grateful for what you have in the present, to not yearn for more. I feel like you're finding peace with your current surroundings and also feeling excitement and motivation towards what's next. I also think you could be surrounded by more children this upcoming month. Like, you know, maybe you're hanging out with like friends' children more, like maybe you're hanging out with your own children more, or maybe you're just getting in touch with your own inner child and consuming like nostalgic content, or reconnecting with your inner child. I feel like you're coming into alignment with parts of yourself that you may have forgotten existed, and parts of yourself that you may have felt like you couldn't access anymore. And you're gonna realize this month that that's not the case at all. It's almost like the month of March is kind of is spring in the northern hemisphere. So it's if you're in the northern hemisphere, I feel like you're gonna be kind of springing back into life in a way where maybe you haven't felt so whole and so full in a really long time. I also think that you're just going to be in general more optimistic. I think the only challenge that you really have that I can see so far is the fact that you might be kind of like, wait, there's no catch, like there's no tower moment waiting, there's no like big but, there's, well, big but no, I meant like big, like oh yeah, you get these awesome blessings, but there's none of that. There's no, maybe a blessing is a big but. I don't know. But I do think that this month is going to be feeling a bit lighter, a bit brighter. I do also want to say, because I don't want to forget it, a very happy birthday to my March people, my Pisceans and Arians. I really hope that if this is your birth month, that it is very fun and exciting. But I do think you're entering a new portal of new possibilities, new opportunities, and I think that you have the drive and the practical skills and knowledge to follow through on your ideas. And so I think that you have this recognition that there are good things to come, and even if your brain makes you feel like that's not the case, that's not necessarily true. I think that you're just going to be in this space of feeling really full in what you're doing, feeling very content, and just happy to be in each moment, to be present, and to enjoy this time of peace, because obviously we don't always have that. So I do think that this month is going to be a bit easier on you. It's going to be a little bit lighter, a little bit freer. It's going to give you the opportunity to focus on what you might want to happen in the future. You could start laying down future plans. I do think that this could be a month where you set yourself up for financial success in some way. And I do think that maybe plans that you started this upcoming month or in the recent past will be coming to fruition around May with this Taurus energy being here. But this is actually really, really straightforward. You may find that some spiritual gifts are opening up, or you're feeling more tapped in to the spiritual energy around you. But really, more so than anything, I feel like you're just feeling more like you. And it might feel weird to feel more like you because maybe you're more used to feeling negative things or having more negative experiences. But this is a really beautiful energy to start out with, and there's not really a whole lot I need to say here because it's pretty straightforward and pretty good. So let's go ahead and shuffle some cards now. I just want to go ahead and look at a blessing, a challenge, and something that you need to know about this upcoming month from Spirit. So I'll shuffle these oracles first, and then I'll shuffle your tarot. So, Spirit, what is a blessing that pile 2 is going to experience in this upcoming month, please? What about a challenge? And what is something they need to know about this upcoming month? What do they need to be aware of? Okay. And now I'm going to use, sir, why are you upside down? I am going to use the Good Tarot to get some tarot cards to assist me with this part. I feel like this is just a time where we really need just like good energies, and I feel like this deck always has good energy for me. I really like this deck. so I hope you do too. Okay. So, Spirit, what is a blessing that pile 2 will be experiencing this month? What is a challenge pile 2 will be experiencing this month? And what is something that pile 2 needs to know moving forward? Okay. I'm going to actually leave that in reverse. But let's go ahead and look at your blessing to start. So we have the Knight of Swords and we have passion. I love this. So I feel like not only are you going to be feeling very productive this month and very like clear on where you're headed, you're also going to be bursting with different ideas, and you're going to be feeling really passionate about what it is you're doing in life. I feel like you're going to kind of just be on the ball. Like, someone asks you a question, you've got the answer. You need to plan the next few days, you can do it instantly. Like, there's this very just quick, clean, easy energy about you this upcoming month where you're fueled by what you're doing and the gratification by what you're doing, and you have this focus of mind where you may have not experienced this at all before, or very rarely, where you just kind of know what the next step is, you know where you need to head, things like that. You may also be receiving communication from people that you've been wanting to hear from, or communication is just going to be easier this month, where you feel like it's easy to communicate with people are being upfront and honest with you. It's like, when it comes to dealing with your mental state and also just with the world around you, you're not overthinking too much. You're not too worried about what other people are doing. You kind of have this pretty narrow focus on yourself and the people around you that are really important. But I think more so than anything, you're just feeling very good. You're feeling fueled as well. I don't know if that's a real feeling, but that's what's coming through. I think that you're not going to be at a loss for words. You're going to have the right words to say to people. You're going to be very on top of your game when it comes to like being responsive to others when people need to reach out to you or things like that. I also think that if you have any more negative thoughts, or you are in kind of a funkier place, you're going to be able to kind of cut through that energy and redirect yourself to what you need to be focused on and where you need to be headed. I feel like this month is going to go by really quickly just because you're going to be kind of enjoying yourself, you're going to be feeling good about what you're doing, and you're always going to be focused on what's next. So I think the blessing is just that you're going to be feeling your best this month. You're going to be feeling good. You're not going to be bogged down by too many negative thoughts or emotions. You're going to be feeling good about what you're doing. You're going to be feeling satisfaction and gratification from that. And I also think that the people around you are going to be very easy to communicate with. I don't think you're going to have many issues with like arguments or things like that. I think that you're going to mean what you say and say what you mean, and the people around you are going to do the same thing. I also think that you may just find that people that you care about that you haven't heard from in a while are reaching out to you just to see how you're doing. So you might get to reconnect with some people that you care about that you haven't gotten to hear from. So I think the biggest blessing is that you're feeling good about what you're doing. You're ready for these next steps. You're ready to take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and you've got a clear, concise plan on what to do next. So you're not doubting yourself. You're not worrying about what you need to do or what's going to happen next. And you feel like you can take the next step with confidence. So let's see what challenge you might be facing. We have the Moon and we have impasse. So when it comes to this card being here, there might be blockages outside of your control that you won't anticipate. But here's what's so awesome about it. You'll come up with solutions like that. Like, you won't even really need to be worried about these sorts of blockages, because these blockages are actually divine redirections. The story in this card always talks about these two hikers trying to go on this path, and then this big ass giant like stands in their way and like won't let them cross, and they're like, what the hell, giant, like let us through, and he's like, no. So they have to take a detour, and when they take this detour, they find out that there's like an avalanche that happens a little bit after that would have, unalived them. So they realized that this giant standing in their way was actually a huge blessing. So one challenge may be that maybe if there are blockages or experiences that are like outside of your control, you may be kind of frustrated and not understand the greater purpose behind them. But I feel like this blessing is going to come through where you're going to have solutions to any blockages that come your way, and you're not really going to need to worry about it too much. I also think that you're going to be a lot more stable emotionally this month. So like any blockages that do happen, it's like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. We'll just take a detour. We'll take a different route. We'll do something different. I do think though that you might be more, your emotions might fluctuate a little bit with like the moon cycles, so you may want to be aware of that. But I think the biggest thing is that you may have a hard time slowing down and kind of going within. I feel like this is going to be a very external month where you don't have to focus on your inner world too much, but you may kind of miss that. Like you may miss being tapped into your inner world, and you may struggle to be tapped into there. But I think the reason why you're not supposed to be too tapped into your inner world is because you're supposed to be making outward progress, and I think that you're going to be kind of accepting of that. I don't think that these challenges are going to be things that are too difficult to handle. It feels like just kind of like a speed bump in the road of life, if you will. So let's finish off by looking at anything that Spirit wants you to know about this month. Oh, this is awesome. So we do have the Nine of Swords in reverse, and we have discovery. So I think one thing that is really awesome is I think you're going to be overcoming a lot of negative thought patterns. With the Nine of Swords in reverse, this is all about, mental instability, mental anguish. And I feel like if you've been dealing with a lot of that, you're going to be coming out of a lot of that this month. I think that you're going to be getting results for the things that you've already been putting work in. And I also think that Spirit's encouraging you this month to find solutions to your fears or anxious thoughts. You might be discovering like a new product or a new habit or a new routine that really helps you kind of get out of your head and be more focused. Or you could be discovering something about yourself that kind of affects this, and that discovery is going to allow you to make change. We do have the lower chakras highlighted here with the sacral and the root. So I do think that you're going to be feeling more connected to the earth. You're going to be feeling a bit safer at home and in your body. I also think that you're not going to allow your troubling thoughts to overwhelm or override the progress that you're making. And I feel like with the Nine of Swords in reverse, Spirit is saying, really take advantage of this time where you're not so bogged down or overwhelmed by your thoughts, and also be open to new solutions that you may not have anticipated in the past. I do think that it's almost like there could be a new product or a new way of going about certain challenges that you have that you've never thought of before, that someone might show you or you might stumble across. And these discoveries will allow you to kind of help continue to keep you in a healthier place mentally, and also to help you feel more connected to the earth, to feel more safe, to help heal your root chakra. And I also think that if you've been struggling with insomnia, or something like that, you might be kind of getting out of that energy. One interesting thing that I do notice is that the full moon in the upcoming month of March, I'm not sure what it's in, Virgo probably, because we just had, I don't know, I could be wrong. That might be a significant window where you're feeling a lot of energy, or you're feeling or past energies of like frustration or anxiety or unrest may be coming up to help you release and purge. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to be aware that it's kind of just the full moon energies pushing you to fully purge these things, but it's not something that's coming back and cementing itself in your March, because you actually seem to be having a really, really, really good March. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this reading off with some final advice from Spirit. So to start, we have Orale. So this is really just a sign to take advantage of the moment, take advantage of the present, allow yourself to be present and not worry too much about the future or the past. With Orale, it talks about meditation and mindfulness. So I do think Spirit is encouraging you to keep up with some sort of meditation routine, or make sure that you are taking time to be mindful of your surroundings and be appreciative of this good time, because, you know, we always have good and bad times, like nothing's ever the same. So I feel like Spirit is asking you to enjoy this month, enjoy the lightness that you're gonna feel, enjoy the fact that you're feeling good and feeling confident, and be present in that. Don't wish this time away worrying about when the next negative time is going to happen or when the next challenge is going to come. Be present and be grateful for what you have now, and try not to be like overwhelmed by what may happen, or be living so far in the future that you're not appreciating now. We also have I am a creator. So I do think that Spirit is encouraging you to be more creative this month, which we definitely see here with passion and empaths with this sacral energy. Don't be afraid. I just heard color outside the lines, but also think outside the box. Prioritize channeling your energy into creative things, especially if you have a gift related to creative things. I think Spirit is really encouraging you. And I love the synchronicity between this Oralite and this I am a creator. It's like, I feel like if you want to connect with Spirit this month, the best way to do it is to tap into your creativity. You might get like signs or visions through your creativity, but I think the biggest thing is that Spirit is asking you to appreciate these positive feelings and channel these positive feelings into creations that you can enjoy or others can enjoy. We also have cheerful, which I think is definitely going to be an energy for your overall month. But the trigger statement is I am powerless, and the true statement is I am excited to see what the future brings. The future is bright. Enjoy knowing that your optimism today fuels your amazing tomorrow. Yeah, there's so much here with like prosperity, good things coming. And so I feel like Spirit is really asking you to trust and to not let the fear of a worse tomorrow, or the fear that these feel-good energies will dissipate, to stop you from feeling good in the now, because it's really, that stuff is in your head, and when you are centered and grounded in reality, you're not going to feel that way. And we also have Archangel Haniel, seek soul satisfaction, fan a flame of inner happiness. So yeah, this month is really about following the callings of your soul, allowing yourself to take time for yourself, to create space for what you want to create, to tap into parts of yourself that you may have been unaware of for quite some time, or that you may have felt disconnected from. This is an opportunity to just appreciate the moments, the small moments, to be present with the people around you, to be close to the people around you, and to feel good. Spirit is really saying, you know, don't feel suspicious of this good time. Be grateful for it and embrace it. Don't push it away or wish it away by expecting or anticipating something bad to happen. So pile 2, that is where I am going to leave your reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching my ads. That is the simplest and easiest way to support me, but if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and did I say you can comment, let me know how it resonates? I don't know. I also have social media, so if you want to check that out, that will be linked below. Do be aware that there are a lot of scammers pretending to be me, so just know that if it's not linked below, it's not mine. I only have one Instagram. I do not offer personal readings, and I will not be trying to solicit personal readings from you in your DMs. That is a scammer. And I have merch, but that is all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I hope you all have a wonderful March 2022, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi there, pile 3. If you guys chose this Kambaba Jasper Palm Stone, this is going to be your reading on your March 2022 predictions. Thank you so much for being here. So we're just going to start with some oracle cards to see what you can expect for the overall month. So to start, we have Pink Rose with Gratitude. We also have the sign of Gemini and Air Energy. We have Gilded Regret. We have the Seas of Mintaka, Seeing Potential, Bringing Unconscious to Light, and Believe in the Impossible with Blue Moon. Okay, so I think that this upcoming month is going to be very essential for you. But your biggest challenge is going to be getting out of your past energy. It's quite possible that you've been living in the past a little bit and been a little bit too focused on what has been, and you're not really focused on what could be. I feel like this month is an opportunity for you to get realigned with your truth and find gratitude for the moment. I feel like you may be ruminating about your past or ruminating about what you didn't do, and I feel like Spirit is trying to remind you that the past has already happened and you can't change it. So I feel like what you're going to be focusing on this upcoming month is not only being present, but being present to all the possibilities that lie in the future. Instead of looking at what isn't working, you're going to be kind of redirected to see what is and to see what could be. I also think that this is going to be a time of emotional healing for you, and also recognizing that maybe your head isn't always the best place to live. It does kind of seem like you've been in a challenging energy where even if things are fine in your everyday life, you know, maybe your brain hasn't been necessarily very kind to you, or maybe you've just been feeling like nothing will ever change, or like it's all downhill from here, or like what if I can't succeed, or what if I won't be successful anymore. It's just a lot of worrying, a lot of lack mentality, if I'm being honest. And I think that this upcoming month is going to be an opportunity for you to recognize where maybe your own mindset has been the very thing setting you back from making progress and cultivating more success for yourself. So I definitely feel like this is a month of rejuvenating your mental space and helping it become a more inviting and welcoming place. With the pink rose being out here as well, it always makes me think of a card in a different deck by this same deck creator, Rebecca Campbell, that says, you know, the ever unfolding rose, it's happening to you, not for you. It's happening for you, not to you. And you might be feeling like these past experiences, you were wasting time, or that you didn't appreciate them. And I feel like Spirit is trying to get you to recognize that you have unlimited potential in front of you. And this upcoming month is an opportunity for you to practice gratitude for what you do have, and not allow the pain of the past, the fears of the future, either of those, to stop you from seeing the potential of now and the potential of what could be. With Believe in the Impossible, I feel like there are things that you're not anticipating happening that may be happening this month, but it's almost like you need to release your focus on certain things, or your focus on things happening in a certain way. The way the universe works, if you have prayers or manifestations that you want to be delivered, you have to surrender the how, the when, and the why and the where. It's kind of like you let Spirit bring it to you however it's meant to, and just trust the process and go with the flow. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you've been struggling to go with the flow in the past. I feel like your mind has been very focused on controlling your surroundings, and also at the same time maybe beating yourself up for things that you can't control, or for not being aware of things that you couldn't have been aware of at that time. And so Spirit's really trying this upcoming month to redirect you to the now, and to redirect you to what does matter. If you have the opportunity to kind of get away, I feel like Spirit is encouraging that. Or if you have the opportunity to spend time by water, I feel like Spirit is encouraging that as well. It does seem like the time where you just need to kind of be open to what Spirit is trying to show you, but also stop limiting yourself. I feel like there are a lot of dreams that you want to accomplish, or you're ready for new ideas or new things or new possibilities, but your mind is closed off to them from fear. Instead of having gratitude for your past, I feel like you're worrying that things will fail, or things won't go well, or that you should have capitalized on these opportunities in the past. And yeah, I feel like you're just spending all of your energy on what you haven't done, what you're doing wrong, what you're not doing right, what you should be doing, what you're like. It's just a lot of shit that's not necessary or helpful for you. And so I feel like this month is going to be kind of your breaking point, where you're like, okay, I can't keep living like this, because you're not seeing clearly at all when you're thinking that way, because there is so much potential, there is so much opportunity, there is so much room for growth and expansion and doing new things. And as I say that, like, I can feel my sacral chakra like kicking into high gear, and I feel like that's kind of what you're going to be experiencing. You may not be realizing how you're almost creating these self-fulfilling prophecies for yourself, where you're like, oh, I'm not going to achieve this, or like, what does it matter? Like, I've already messed this up, or this and that. You're just being way too hard on yourself. And so this month, I feel like Spirit's kind of grabbing you by the shoulders and being like, pile 3, like, you need, like, you're doing great, sweetie. Like, stop being so hard on yourself. Like, my God, like, come on, like, you're great. And I think that what you're gonna be doing is being a lot kinder to yourself and seeing the possibilities instead of what has already happened. No point worrying about the past, sweetie. It already happened. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but it's kind of fun. Anyway, I do think that you're going to be more kind of like tapped into your subconscious as well, because I do think that there's an opportunity for you to address why your subconscious is terrorizing you so much, to the point where you can't see the light in your life and the good things that are happening. There is a lot of like collective stress and scary things happening in the world right now. And you might be feeling like, I didn't take advantage of when things were good, or I didn't take advantage of these opportunities in the past. And it's like, and Spirit's trying to remind you, you can't go back in time and change the past. And like every single show where they do that, they literally say, hey, don't fuck with the past, because it could change things in the future in like unforeseen ways and cause a lot of strife and chaos. And that's really what Spirit is doing here. Is you might be intentionally or unintentionally holding yourself back because you're afraid of what you might be able to achieve, or you're afraid of what your growth might cultivate. And I think you're just afraid of the unknown. And with this season Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light, I think you're going to be paying attention to a lot of patterns that have been happening underneath your surface, that have been kind of keeping you stuck in a loop of rumination, a loop of not believing in yourself, a loop of not having hope for the future. And I think you're going to be learning how to stop those cycles and get into a higher vibrational energy of gratitude and hope for what has to come. Instead of thinking of the unknown with fear, I feel like Spirit's giving you the opportunity to look at the unknown with excitement, as an adventure, as something new, as the opportunity to do something different. And with the number 5 being here, it's like, you have the opportunity for changes. You have the opportunity to do things differently. You can't change how you did them in the past, but you can change them you can change what you're doing today. You can change what you're doing in the future. And I think Spirit is asking you to stop judging yourself by who you were and start allowing yourself to become who you want to be. There's no point in your energy is just so pulled and focused on the past, and Spirit's really trying their best to redirect you and be like, no, there's nothing there that can really help you. Have gratitude for it, be grateful for what it taught you, but it can't help you in this next step. In fact, the more you are open to ways of doing and being that you haven't tried before, the more hopeful you'll actually be for the potential that you could have, or the experiences that may come to light. One thing that I'm also hearing as well is that you may have a blocked throat chakra. So you might want to look into like throat chakra healing or something like that, because I do think that negative self-talk, or just negative like beliefs about yourself, or negative like thought loops or patterns might be harming your ability to consciously cultivate what you want and be more hopeful. I feel like your mind is really ruling you right now, and this upcoming month is an opportunity to kind of get back into the driver's seat and make your mind work for you, not allow it to rule you. Your mind is a great tool, and it's a great assistant, but it shouldn't be running the show. Your higher mind should be. And I think that maybe you haven't been tapped into your higher mind as of recently, or tapped into your greater awareness. And so I think that you have the opportunity to kind of realign with your spiritual truths, your soul truths, and not allow your programming and your past to determine how your future is going to be. It's kind of like putting a stop to a cycle that has been ready to be broken for a long time now. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the next part of your reading, where we are going to be looking at a blessing this month, a challenge this month, and something that Spirit just wants you to be aware of this month. So, Spirit, what is... Okay, well, I'm going to guess that these are for blessings, and we're going to take them. What is a challenge that pile 3 might be dealing with this month, okay? And what is something... Okay, wow, all right. Well, I know I'm turning these over like you shouldn't see them or something, but I just gotta focus on one thing at a time. I'm sorry. So we are going to shuffle your tarot cards now. I feel like Spirit's really excited to like let you in on things and let you in on things that you need to know about, because like I feel like your mental state has really been blocking you from a lot of beautiful things that are right in front of you and that you're just not really seeing. I think that fear has really taken a hold of you in a way that maybe you weren't anticipating, and I feel like Spirit is reminding you that you don't have to stay stuck in that energy. So, Spirit, what is a blessing occurring in pile 3's upcoming month? Yeah, they just like, man, they're like flipping everything over. Okay, what about a challenge in pile 3's upcoming month? What about a challenge? All right, and finally, what is something that they need to be aware of in this upcoming month? What do you want them to know? Okay, so to start with your blessing, as you guys kind of already saw, we have the Page of Wands, and we also have joy, and we have grief. So I think that you're kind of coming out of a grieving period. Maybe that's something that you're still going through, or you still have like pangs of. I don't really see grief as like a blessing. It's just kind of a part of life. But I think that this month is an opportunity for you to come out of like a really dark period and find your joy again. Find the things that get you excited and be more in touch not only with your inner child, but with your motivation to move forward, with your desire to realign with feel-good energy and to make a conscious effort to have a joyful experience. You know, I do think that you've been moving through and processing and releasing a lot of heavy emotions, and that is allowing you to be open to lighter energies again. With the Page of Wands as well, I feel like you might be more adventurous, you might be more open to trying different things, and you might be more excited about the potential of what's to come and feeling less tied to the heavy emotions of the past. I think the biggest blessing really is that you're not going to be so tied down by these heavy emotions that don't need to weigh on you anymore. It doesn't mean that they'll be gone completely. It doesn't mean that they won't exist anymore. It just means that it won't inhibit you from feeling joy in the moment and from realigning with joy when you do get sidetracked by heavier emotions. Especially with the Page of Wands being here, I feel like you're just gonna have a more playful energy. You're not gonna be taking things so seriously. You're gonna be feeling much lighter and feeling more content in the moment, not feeling like you need to know what the next step is. You need to know how everything is going to turn out. I feel like I just heard like Bart Simpson in my head say like, don't have a cow, man. And Bart Simpson is probably a good example of Page of Wands energy. I feel like you might be up to more mischief. And if there's someone that you miss, like that may have like passed on, someone or like an animal, for example, that may have passed on, you may be seeing signs of them and their desire to let you know that they don't want you to be just grieving over their loss forever, that they want you to be happy. And they may be showing signs that they're watching over you. They might joke with you, send you silly signs or things like that. And you might feel inspired to kind of tap into their energy in very playful ways, in ways that you both would enjoy, or in ways that are healing to your inner child. I also feel like with the Page of Wands here, it's like you might look at your past self and be like, oh, I was so naive and I can never have that lighthearted energy again. And I feel like you're going to be realizing that you always have access to that lighthearted energy, and that really when you allow yourself to be aligned with it and you give yourself time and space to purge and grieve and go through difficult emotions, you can make space for lighter emotions to appear again. I also think that if you're in the northern hemisphere, you know, spring is going to be starting, and that might be an excellent opportunity for you to just get more sunlight, feel lighter, feel warmer. I feel like the frigidness of the winter, if you are in the northern hemisphere, is finally going to be dissipating, and you're just going to be feeling a bit freer, grateful for what you have, grateful for the journey, and not feeling like you need to know the next step. I feel like you're going to have so much more awareness of how you were creating unnecessary stress for yourself, and I feel like you're going to be making a conscious effort to not allow what you were doing in your past, or what you were doing like this past month, for example, to continue affecting you in the future, because you know that if you can control it, you should, because some things we can't control, but like if you can control what you do to make yourself feel joyful, if you can go out of your way or do things that bring you more joy, it's like Spirit saying, do it, go after those things. I also think that you may be getting communication from like people that you care about that are just bringing you like good news, or bringing you, or like maybe things in their life are looking up and that's making you really happy. But I feel like this grief energy is something that's kind of being transcended and being lightened in this upcoming month, and it's not going to be something that is weighing so heavily on your soul. So let's go ahead and look at a challenge. So yeah, we have the World, which makes sense, and we have abundance. So I do feel like you may be okay, how do I word this? You could be dealing with financial issues for some of you, but for a lot of you, I feel like this is more like fear, like you have enough, but you're worried that it won't continue. I also feel like with the World card being here, this is more like a past energy, and I don't think that this abundance has to do with literal finances. I think this has more to do with feeling safe, feeling like you have enough. I feel like you may be affected by what is going on in the collective, and you may be kind of overwhelmed by collective energies, and so that might be a challenge. But I feel like Spirit is asking you to redefine how you see abundance, and remember that abundance is always available to you, and abundance is always comes in many different forms. In this card, this talks about someone who drops like money in this grate, and you know, they sob and they sulk over it, whereas this like resourceful little girl finds a way to get the money out and save it for herself. So I feel like your biggest challenge is going to be not succumbing to past energies that make you feel held down, that make you feel bad, that make you feel like you can't continue, and instead choosing to look towards the future and look towards what could be, and try things differently, try new solutions, try things you never have before. I feel like Spirit is really saying, you know, especially if you've evolved a lot, or if you are in a better financial place, there's no reason to be stressing yourself out so much. Now, of course, that's much easier said than done. That's why it's a challenge. It's not something that you can just talk yourself through and be fine. It's something that you're actively going to have to work with yourself, or work with someone else to help you kind of get over these fixed energies that you haven't been able to overcome on your own. I feel like Spirit is just going to keep pushing you to realign with joyful energies, with lighter energies, even when things are difficult outside and in the collective. Spirit's saying that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice yourself and sacrifice your feel-good feelings, especially if it's something you can't control, or that isn't even directly affecting you. I also think another challenge is that you might be feeling the world's collective anxiety of fear, and considering it seems like you're coming out of those energies, it might be really challenging to remain completely separate from them. But I feel like Spirit is encouraging you to remember that a lot of things that involve mass consciousness are literally used to create and incite more fear. And I think that Spirit is asking you to not be too far into the past, to not keep focusing on the past, to not keep focusing on what you lost or what you don't have, to redirect yourself to what you do have, and to recognize that, you know, every chapter comes with its good sides and its dark sides, and good and bad. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to honor the past for what it is, thank it for getting you to where you are now, but not allow it to override your hope for the future. Because I think the biggest thing is just that you're going to continue to be challenged with, can I have this optimistic attitude? Can I see the possibilities rather than what I've messed up? Can I see my potential for success rather than the failures that have already happened? It's really a lot, like, your biggest opponent this month is yourself. And the more you recognize that the world is not working against you, that the universe does not want you to fail, the universe does not want to see you, you know, fall down or fail, and recognize instead that the world wants you to succeed, the world wants you to thrive, the world wants you to grow, and align with those energies, I feel like you're going to recognize that you have more power over feeling good than you realized. I mean, obviously there's a lot more that goes into that, but like, even just opening yourself up to opportunities or seeking opportunities to heal or to, you know, get yourself in a better place if you can't do it on your own, like, even taking action towards that is going to be helpful. But I think the biggest thing is that a lot of this is in your head. A lot of this is feeling like you're not enough or that you don't have enough. And I think Spirit is asking you to, instead of thinking about what's going wrong or what's not right, let's think about what is right. Let's think about what is going well. And that's not toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is when you're only looking at the positives and not focusing on what needs work or things like that. You're focused on what needs work. You're focused on what's not going well or what's doing well. And so Spirit's saying we need to balance that out with some lighter and more fulfilling energies, because you're literally going to sink instead of swimming. And that's not what they want. They want you to thrive. They want you to grow. They want you to unleash your full potential. And it's going to be really hard to do that if you're stuck in old patterns, old behaviors, and old mindsets that don't really allow you to move forward. And I think a lot of this, since we have so much solar plexus energy, the biggest thing you want to be aware of this month is your ego, because I almost feel like it's the world that may be making you feel like you're not far enough along, or that you're not doing enough, when in fact you're doing wonderfully. It's like maybe like people's social media, or, you know, like the stupid shit like Forbes is like 30 under 30, like things like that, where you're being forced to compare yourself to others, or you catch yourself comparing yourself to others. Make sure you're not doing that, because you should really be proud of how far you've come. You should be really proud of how much progress you've made, and like, you can't compare your journey to someone else's. The only person you are competing against is yourself, and that is your biggest opponent this month, is yourself. The challenge is recognizing that and not projecting your opponent to be the world around you, because it's not, it's you. So let's go ahead and see what Spirit wants you to know about this month. So we have the 10 of Pentacles, and we have soulmate. So this is really beautiful energy. I think one big interpretation of this card is that you could be spending a lot more time with your family or people that support you, because this is why I didn't feel like there was really many issues with like abundance. I do feel like you're either in a financially secure place, or you have people that can support you and take care of you. But with this 10 of Pentacles here, I feel like Spirit is reminding you that you're not running a sprint, you're running a marathon. Like this, you're creating and cultivating your legacy. And I also think that with this soulmate card being here, you're gonna have the opportunity to be more open and honest and vulnerable with people. I also think that you could be, if you are in a relationship with someone, I do feel like you could be more vulnerable with them about your emotions, but also you could be starting a family, you could be moving in with someone, or, you know, just starting fresh. And I feel like that could be really awesome for those of you that is happening to. You may be feeling like worried, like, what if this new start isn't as good as I think it'll be, or what if it's not going to be as successful as I thought. It kind of seems like Spirit's saying whatever moves you're making towards your future are not only aligning you with abundance and security, but also aligning you with soul family, people that you're meant to be with. I also think that you could be hearing from, or you could be interacting with a divine counterpart or somebody that you consider to be a soulmate of some kind. But I feel like this, more than anything, is you realigning with the energy of your soul. I feel like you've kind of been stuck in habits and patterns and programming that's not really aligned with your truth, that's not really aligned with who you are. And I feel like you recognize that, but you haven't been able to get out of it. And I think that this month is going to be the opportunity where you get to actually slow down and kind of reconnect with the earth and recognize, okay, what is actually me and what is my fear? What is helping me? What is hindering me? I feel like this is a lot of like, you're getting out of a lot of brain fog and maybe a lot of negativity that you weren't aware was affecting you. Because I almost feel like this isn't like very conscious negativity. It's like negativity that you pick up on subconsciously, like through media or something like that. But I also think as well, family could be an excellent support system this month. Obviously family that is good to you, but also maybe one thing Spirit wants you to know is that if you've been manifesting a soulmate, or you've been manifesting like a partner of some kind, that you could have the potential to meet them this month. You could, or what you're doing now could be aligning with you meeting them in the future, what you're doing this month or the opportunities that you have this month. I almost feel like these two cards are kind of separate, but you may also be seeing signs of, like, if you have like a counterpart that you're in separation with or something like that, you may be seeing a lot of signs from them, or you may be hearing from them. I feel like the biggest thing is that you may be feeling more vulnerable and more emotionally open to those energies. You might have been closed off to them. And I think Spirit is just trying to make you aware that it's okay to, you're entitled to feel however you want to feel. And they may just want you to be aware, like, if you feel like you're going crazy or you're not sure why you're seeing certain synchronicities or things like that, it may be because there's something that you need to learn about the energies between the two of you. You may be meeting someone or reuniting with someone that you feel a soul connection to, or you may just be aligning with meeting more of your soul family and creating a legacy with them. I feel like this goes beyond the month of March, but I feel like if you've been manifesting this or you've been trying to align with this, Spirit is telling you that you are on the right path and that you are aligning with this. I feel like the timing is going to be different for everyone, but I feel like this is a long-term goal, and Spirit's trying to get you to be aware that, like, because this is a long-term goal, you're not going to necessarily see evidence of that in your immediate present, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that's why they want you to be open and aligned with all the possibilities, because the more you focus on the past and what was and what went wrong, the further away you get from reaching that goal. And all the universe wants to do is align you with where you want to be. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this reading off with some advice. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and start with these two personal power cards. So to start, we have I Follow My Heart. You guys got two, so you're special. And I Am a Problem Solver. So yeah, Spirit's really encouraging you to tap more into your heart space rather than trusting your logical brain to guide you forward. And Spirit's also asking you to be confident that any challenges that come your way, you can resolve them. I feel like you're being challenged also to just tap into your feelings and other parts of yourself other than your brain, like your body. Like, check in with your body, check in with your surroundings, check in with things that are not your brain, because I feel like your brain has been really ruling you, and it's like Spirit's trying to get you back into the driver's seat and see where your perception has been a bit distorted. Because I feel like you're doing better than you think you are. And I feel like you think you're doing a lot worse than you really are. And it's really unfair to yourself and really unfair to your progress and unfair to your manifestations. And it's unfair to you first and foremost. So I feel like this is an opportunity for you to kind of wake up and realign with what's important. So we also have Lapis Lazuli, which I think is very fitting because Lapis Lazuli is all about spiritual realignment. And so I think that Spirit is encouraging you to meditate, to do things that kind of get you out of your head, to not live in your head, to not allow your head to rule you this month. Really take time and energy to focus on cultivating a conscious connection with spirit, cultivating a conscious connection with yourself, and zooming out of the past, zooming out of what you've done wrong, and instead looking at a picture, like the full picture of who you are in a more holistic way. I really think that you have been so hard on yourself, and it's not necessary. You can really trust yourself to carry you where you need to go. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to find gratitude for the past, because it's brought you here and it's taught you a lot, but it doesn't need to affect your present and future as much as it does now. And just remember that your present is what creates the future. So when we think about things like divine timing is not a date on the calendar. It's created every day by our thoughts, intentions, and actions. And so the more you align with progressive future energy, progressive present energy, the more you're going to align with your manifestations, with what you want to cultivate, and achieve things that you never thought possible. We also have, oh gosh, I don't know how to say this, Archangel Premenelek. Be conscientious, cooperate with others for the highest good. I feel like Spirit is really asking you to cooperate with yourself. I feel like when you're frustrated with yourself, you may just shut down and kind of dissociate from yourself, or just kind of distract yourself from yourself. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to be more conscious of how you're making yourself feel, of how your actions help or hurt you, of how your habits and your patterns help or hurt you. This month is an opportunity to get out of energies that have really been frustrating you and making you feel stuck. And not the only thing, but the biggest thing stopping you from not necessarily getting over that, but from resolving that, is being consciously aware of what's working and what isn't. And also working with Spirit and trusting what Spirit has to say, not just listening to these readings, but actually taking the guidance that's given to you and enacting it. You can't co-create with Spirit if Spirit's giving you the information, but you're not doing anything with it. So finally, we have black pepper. The trigger statement is, I am trapped, and the true statement is, I am whole. Allow the parts of yourself you hide to make themselves known. In the light, you will see the wisdom that they hold. And this is literally like the Season Mintaka, bringing unconscious to light. This is an opportunity to integrate parts of yourself that you like, parts of yourself that you're not necessarily fond of, and create a more whole version of yourself that you're happier with. There's a lot of solar plexus energy happening this month, where you really have to trust that you are capable of so much more than you think you are, and you can believe that you are so much more than you've been in the past. I feel like really the biggest thing is that you might be allowing limiting beliefs or other people's judgments to affect who you are now, and that's just not the case. Like, you are the only person that gets to determine who you are, and like, when you know who you are, nobody can tell you who you are. And I think the biggest thing that you need to know is that, like, you're doing great. Like, you don't need to be so hard on yourself, and just trust that with work and with patience and with time, you will overcome a lot of these more difficult energies, and with a willingness to work through them, you will go so much further and grow so much more than you would if you just instantly got what you wanted and never had to put the work in to get there. So pile 3, I'm going to leave this reading here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for watching my ads. That is the simplest and easiest way to support my channel. I do want to say a quick happy birthday to all of my March birthdays. I hope that it is a wonderful time for you, and I hope that your solar return goes well. If you'd like to support me in other ways, please like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can definitely click that bell to be part of my notification squad if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video. You can also check out my merch, which is linked below, and my social media, though do be aware I don't offer personal readings, and I will not solicit personal readings from you in your DMs. So if somebody's doing that, it is a scammer, it is not me. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful March 2022. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!